Hey guys, so I am setting up for my provider meeting, my monthly provider meeting. I like to have monthly meetings with my clients just to make sure everything's going okay. And I'll talk more about that in a video because I wasn't always doing that, but I think it's really important to do. So I'm just waiting for the provider to join. As I'm doing that, I'll just let you know why, I guess, I do it. I like to do monthly meetings with the providers so that we can talk about anything that's going wrong, how they feel, anything that they want to speak about. It's about a half an hour. And of course, they can always email me and call me throughout the month. But this is just something that is more, I guess, tailored or focused. So if there are like a lot of things maybe at once, we can get it all out during this half an hour time. Now, it's not always monthly. When we first start out, it would be monthly. So this particular client, I just started billing for her in April. And so this is the first month because we're on May 11th. And so I want to do it monthly at least for the first 3 to 6 months. After that, we can decide whether it is going to be quarterly, every 6 months. I wouldn't push it to every 6 months, but I would say maybe quarterly. And if we need to go back to monthly after doing it quarterly for a certain amount of time, then we can do that. I don't want to make it too much because sometimes we overdo it and it's like so much that we do. So it's like, oh, well, I'm going to meet with them like every single month or every single week. And sometimes it gets overwhelming because everybody has something to do. So just enough for them to know that I am there when they need me. Like I said, I always respond to my emails every day. And I call back and talk to people on the phone when I need to. But this is just something a little bit extra to let them know that I am here. You have any questions, you have any concerns, you have anything that you want to speak about, I'm here. So let me see if she has gotten my link. So today I'm going to be also showing you what I do as a part-time business owner because I am also a 9-to-5 employee. So I'm a business owner and a 9-to-5 employee. So I have to juggle my time as far as when I do certain things. So today is a Saturday and I'm gonna also just kind of talk you through what I do on Saturdays. Today is a meeting day, which like I said, we're waiting for the provider to join. But also, I also do my billing if I need to. Now, mainly it is follow-up billing or catch-up billing or just maybe things that are outstanding that I wanted to do. Throughout the week, I kind of have a set plan as to what days I do submitting claims, posting payments, patient statements, follow-up on claims, stuff like that. I have a kind of routine because with doing so many things, and this is regardless of whether you have a business, don't have a business, or whatever. When it comes to staying organized, making sure you get things completed, you have to have some routine in place. And I think routines help you in making decisions or not having to make as much decisions. Now, I've heard about something called decision fatigue. And at first I was like, okay, they're always coming up with something new, right? Some new term, new word, trying to diagnose you with something new. But it is a thing. And I think routines help you to not have to make those decisions so frequently. So you make it the one time that you have made the routine, and then from there you just know what you have to do. For this particular provider, because of the amount of patients that they see, Fridays are my days to submit claims. For me, I feel like submitting claims daily depends on the amount of patients you see, number one. And if the provider has a preference and they want you to do it more often or whatever, it depends on what that preference is and if you can accommodate it. But for the most part, if a provider is seeing a patient, 2 patients a day, sending out 2 patients a day I mean, to me, that's not necessarily necessary, because it's like that's 2 patients a day. They see patients 3 times a week. That's 6 patients. Like, I can just do that all in one sitting, and when I get back the payment and I post payments, and if they're going to like the same payers, then I can just post one set of payments instead of having all these payments split up. And this is after being in billing for a little while and learning about those things. To me, it's more time efficient. Posting payments, patient statements, follow up on claims. Now, following up on claims is a little bit different. I have a specific day for that, but sometimes I have to go outside of that, scope, because if there are a lot of claims that I need to follow up on in this situation with this provider that I am working for, they have a certain situation that's going on. Now, I'm not just going to wait until, Tuesdays, if that's the day that I'm following up on claims, to do the claim follow-up for that. But I try to have these set routines so that I don't have to miss anything, number one, and that I don't have to just be making these off-the-wall decisions every minute. I hope that made sense. So I just text her to see if she's still available to meet. We might have to reschedule. I was hoping that I could, just kind of give y'all a little snippet of us talking, but, things happen. So as I wait to see if she's still able to join the meeting, I wanted to talk about signing on new clients. Like I said, this client is fairly new. It's only been about a month. And so, she's a fairly new client. And I wanted to talk about this because I think I had a video somewhere. I linked that somewhere, here, there, wherever. And it was about new clients and what to kind of expect sometimes, because it's not always clear cut, black and white. Sometimes things happen and you are not aware of what's going on before you sign them on. So we're gonna use this provider as an example. They contacted me and I had them fill out my questionnaire, my form, just trying to find out more information about them, their specialty, how much claims they send out, what they're looking for me to do, all of those things. Then we had an actual face-to-face through Zoom, because where I am and where they are 2 different places, so we couldn't meet in person. But even if we were on the same island, we probably would have done a Zoom. So we met. It was a good, meeting. We talked about a lot. And in that meeting, I have my own set of questions that I usually ask to still try to get more information out of them, because sometimes they leave out things. Sometimes the answers that they put on the questionnaire are not clear. They contradict each other, and I still need further information. But the purpose of the questionnaire is to kind of guide me. When you're going in blindsided, like, you can miss things, you don't know things, you can be thrown off guard, and I try to eliminate that as much as I can. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to completely eliminate, being thrown off guard, but it kind of helps structure and keep focus to the meeting itself. So I met with the provider, we had a good talk, whatever. We decided, they even, after I met with them, because I met with her and her office manager in, I think it was the beginning of March. And so right at that time, they kind of sound like they wanted to outsource the billing, because currently the billing was in-house. So they were kind of on board, but they was like, they want to wait. There were certain things that they needed to do before we can do that. So they wanted to clean up some things that I let them know was important. Payment posting being one of them, and I spoke about that in my recent video about the importance of payment posting. So if you haven't seen that, please watch that video. But we spoke about that, and so they wanted to do some of that first before we moved on, which was fine, that's no problem. So as of in between that, we kind of responded here and there, they had more questions, I answered. Make sure that when you are signing up a new client, and not only new clients, but established clients, you need to make sure that you just keep the lines of communication open. I think that is one of the most biggest problems when it comes to outsourced billing, is the fact that providers feel at some point that they can't communicate or connect or get with the biller as fast as they want to. Sometimes providers can assume or think that you're like an employee, I guess, and they want to get to you now for now. But just be as, I guess, open, or be able to communicate with them. So don't leave them hanging. Don't let them email you today and you don't respond until, next week, Saturday. And that doesn't matter what's going on, because if it's something really going on and you cannot, let's say you have a problem, there's a sickness, something going on, you have to remember that first you are a business owner, and that you need to communicate with the clients that you have. So even if they wanted to speak to you and you say, well, you don't have to tell them all of your information, but I had a sickness in the family, or I'm sick, or whatever, and if you can give me a couple of days, if you can give me a week, I think they would be more, I think they would understand that more compared to you just ignoring their emails or not calling them back or whatever. People are not supposed to know what's going on with you without you telling them. And you have to remember that you have a responsibility to them to do their billing, because they're counting on you. So, like I said, I just try to stay open and build a communication. So within that time, from March to April, we were still speaking, asking questions, all that stuff. When I started on April 1st, now I have to learn their system. They're using Cario, which is Tebra now, I believe it is. And I've heard about Cario Tebra for the longest. Everybody just loves it. Like, it's funny how I would hear about a system, a practice management system, and then I start to work in the system and I'd be like, what did you guys love about this? Now, mind you, I understand that I have to get accustomed to it. I have to start working in it more. And for the most part, it's okay. But there are so many things that I can see, like, why is this like this? And why, I mean, in the my office, just questioning stuff like, why didn't they do this? And where is this? I'm going to do a video about that too, because there are so many practice management systems that, like, I just know were not built for billers or built by billers. Because if they were, they would have so many things in them to make our lives easier. And I wish that I could make some of these practice management systems, because I think it would totally help me. But so now that I'm on the team, now that I'm already doing the billing set, I had to learn the system, which took a little bit. I'm pretty good with computers, but I'm still learning, but I pretty much got it. I start to notice things going on, and things that they said was a different way in the meeting, and now it's this certain way. Just know that even though you may have done all the things right, quote unquote, by getting them to fill out forms and give you more information, doing a consultation with them before you sign them up, all of those things, there still may be surprises when you finally get into the billing. But I think what I'm going through now, as far as the surprises that I am coming up on, I can figure them out, but it may take a little bit of time for them to get completely straight. Now, I don't think she is going to be joining me today, so I'm sorry about that. I guess I'm gonna have to probably do another video with that, or if she ends up joining, then I can just add that within the video. But I'm gonna keep on with what I wanted to go through while I was recording this for you guys, because this is just like a regular day. So before I start to do my actual billing, I want to talk about being a solopreneur and being a 9-to-5 employee, because I am both, and I think there are many people who are both. Now, you might not consider yourself that. You might say I'm a 9-to-5 employee and I just bill for another provider on the side, which technically that's the same thing. You're a contractor. It might not be a business per se, because I went through a video with that, which I will link above, that technically if you are doing it on the side, it is like a business, because you should be paying taxes, you should be doing all the things, or a majority of the things that, let's say, a business would do. So you technically have a business, but so being a solopreneur and working a 9-to-5 job, you have to learn balance, I guess. And I really don't want to say balance, because balance means, like balance, like level. But to be honest with you, it's more like lean in sometimes. Your 9-to-5 may require you to do more in a certain season, and then your business may require you to do more in a certain season, but you just want to try to keep it as balanced as you can. So it might be 55-45, it might be 40-60, it might be 59 or whatever. I'm trying to do these numbers in my head, but 49-51, whatever, like it might be that, but you want to try to keep it balanced. So this is again where the routines come in. We're setting up structure so that you can know what you have to do, when you have to do it, and doing that every single day, making a habit, being consistent, and that will keep you on track. And it took me a long time to figure this out, because I've been doing contract work for other providers since 2008. I think 2007, 2008, something. So when I got into billing in 2006, I had a 9-to-5 in an ophthalmologist's office. And so the doctor's office that I work for now, there was another provider there, but the doctor's office that I work for now, I started to do his billing part-time as a contractor in 2008, I think it is. So I was doing my 9-to-5 and doing his billing on the side. Now, his billing, I had to go in. So I went into his office 2 days a week and I did the billing for him. So that was a little bit different for me, because, now I had to make time for that. I had to go somewhere else to do that. And so it was also kind of like a job. So it was more structured. I went into a place. I knew I had to go into that place at a certain time, all of that stuff. So it was kind of more structured. I think it was 2000, after him, I think it was 2000 and, I don't know, 11? Maybe 2011. Now I was still billing for him. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I was still billing for him, but then someone else asked me to bill for them because they heard that I billed for him. So I did their billing. But the difference with that now is that I didn't go into their office. I did their billing remotely. I did their billing remotely. So now that really threw me off. Many people want to be remote. Many people say, oh, well, I want to get into billing because I can work remote, which you can, and all that's fine. But I think it's something that if you have not worked remote before and worked remote in this way, then it can be challenging to the beginning. You're going to have to figure out your groove, get into your groove. Because I worked from my house doing this person's billing. Now, this person was, I think they had appointments daily. It wasn't a lot. It was a behavioral health provider. And so it wasn't a whole lot of patients per day, but it was good enough. And I used to forget to do stuff. Like I used to forget to send claims, especially when I'm coming home after work, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. I used to forget certain things. And I did not have my stuff together. Like it was crazy. Like I kept saying to myself, I know what to do. Why is this so hard? But I had to build a routine. I had to keep myself on track. I had to change my mentality to understand that I'm no longer an employee or I was still an employee, but in this situation, I have to think like a owner or like a contractor. I can't think like a 9 to 5 employee, because a 9 to 5 employee, for the most part, I know it has changed a lot now, but for the most part, a 9 to 5 employee goes into work, or even if it's remote, they might have to punch into work, punch out. Somebody's behind them. The boss is saying, what is this? What is that? It's a little bit more structured for the most part. How I was working, the provider didn't call me every day. I didn't see the provider every day. I just had to do things and know that I had to do things. So that was a wake-up call, and I really need to do a video about that. I did do a video speaking about the different types of medical billers. I'll link that above, but it was something that I really had to get accustomed to, adjust, and all of that. So today I am going to be doing just a little bit of cleanup. Again, like I told you, for this provider, I have a little bit of cleanup to do, and I have a couple claims to send out. So this is what we're going to do right now. I normally send out claims for this provider on Fridays, but I had something to do yesterday, which is kind of the good thing about this, is that you have a routine, but sometimes the routine gets thrown off. And so now I'm doing what I should have been doing yesterday, today, but I have that option to do so. You just have to remember that you need to do it. So that's what the situation is. So we're just going to do that. Again, I'm in Tebra. So if anybody works in Tebra or the old Cario, let me know down below. Let me know how you feel about it, and we can just, talk about that a little bit. What I don't like about this system so far, I've just started to work in it for about a month, is I don't like the fact that they separate the claims. I can't quite understand why you need to separate. If there are 4 lines, 3 lines, 2 lines on the claim form, they separate it into separate claims. Why? If I had to call about this claim, I would be calling and they're going to ask me what's the amount of the claim, and I'm going to tell them the total amount of the claim. So why would you need to separate it? Because now I have to, unless I don't know where to look currently to do that, I'm going to have to kind of figure this out, look here, look there. And it's like, this is just way too much, but we're going to see. So right now I am, like I said, sending out the claims that I have to send out. There has been some issues in about 5 or 6 patients. The provider sees kind of like the patients over and over again. This is a therapy provider, so they see the patients over and over again. So there are patients that have a few problems with their account. So I'm just looking through to see and make sure that things are right with the patient's account before I send out the claim. Something that you have to keep in mind when you are doing the billing, you need to build a communication not only with the provider. If the provider is the only person in the practice, then it would just be the provider. But if it is also an office manager, the front desk, whoever else is there, you need to build that relationship or rapport with these people as well, because they play a huge role. Currently, I am waiting for authorizations and referral providers, all of those things from the front desk. And so now I have to kind of make a task list for myself to make sure that I know who I can send out, who I can't send out, all of those things. So just try and build some type of relationship with these other people. So it was just a few of them that I had to do. So I'm going to now, I reviewed them, looked them over, and so now I'm going to submit them. Make sure that they get out. I'd like to again send claims in batches instead of sending them one by one and then they get to the payer one by one, and then you know, it's like then you get payment one by one. Like, I like to submit them in batches, so hopefully I can get my payments in batches. So let's send out these few. I also want to post some payments. If I have some payments here to post, I'm gonna go look up that to see if I have any payments here to post. And I have 2 payments to post. No, I have 3 payments to post. So that is awesome. So we're gonna post those 3 payments quick. 1889. One is a secondary payment and the others appear to be the primary. So let's see. In this system for Tebra, you can automatically post payments. I'm not sure if that's a feature that you have to pay for. It probably is, you know, if you know these PM systems, they add on payments for different stuff all the time. But this provider has it where you can automatically post the payments. So, you know, it's pretty good just kind of having to click a button. The only thing is when the lines don't add up, because sometimes the payers separate the lines, and so it's hard for the system to figure that out. But for the most part, it's pretty cool. Now, I don't know if I have said it in a video before, I think I did, but a lot of the providers that I work for, I post payments manually. We don't do it automatically, but this is kind of cool to, you know, manually be able to post these payments. Or sorry, automatically be able to post these payments. So when you're posting the payments automatically, you still have to at least glance over the payments, see if it makes sense, see if the fee schedules are correct, if any of the lines are denied, or, you know, what if it's going to the deductible. Like, you still need to pay attention to what the remit says and not just click, 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 and not read what is going on with the remit. So yes, it's easier, but you still need to do your due diligence and look through it to make sure that things look correct. And then as you are doing them over and over again, if it's a specialty that kind of does, you know, things over and over, then you will be able to look at it more quickly and be able to post faster. This is a new specialty for me. Again, this is therapy, a new specialty for me. So I need to take my time and look through these remits, make sure that fees look correct, and then go from there. So that looks good. So we're going to post that and then post, and then we're good. Okay. So it wasn't too many claims I had to send out, and it wasn't too many claims that I needed to post or remits I needed to post. So that is done with, and we are good with that. The last thing I wanted to talk about in today's video is the specialty and the practice management system. I kind of alluded to that earlier about the practice management system, but when you are a biller, you have to learn how to deal with different systems. Now, if you are just working one job and you deal with this specific system, then, you know, that's fine. You learn it, you can get better at it. If you have a business, you may be one of those business owners who say, well, I will use your practice management system. So as for me, that's what I'm doing. The provider already has a practice management system, so I have learned their practice management system, and I have done that because, number one, I didn't want to get my own, which I actually was working on getting one, open practice. I have said that before, but I had to kind of pull back from that because that provider didn't work out, and it was a whole long thing. But so this provider already had a practice management system. They liked their practice management system, and I don't feel it's right for me to try and move them just because they're going with me as a biller. So I learned this system, and I don't have a problem learning systems because I am pretty good with computers. I like it, and it's fine. But you may determine that you only want to work in one system. Now that may limit your options for providers, or for places to work, if you don't want to learn other systems, because providers will not always want to change over their system. Now I know in certain specialties like therapy or mental health or something, sometimes you have a specific practice management system, or at least let's say 3, 4, 5 practice management systems that a lot of the providers use. And so if you say I'm only going to use Simple Practice, and there are 50 people in your area or 50 people around that who use Simple Practice, then you might have a better chance of getting someone and staying in that system. But sometimes you don't, and you're going to have to learn different systems. So I wanted to throw that out there because it's not always going to be where you can just use one system. So again, I use different systems. I'm using Athena, I'm using Tebra, which is Cario. I have used Medisoft, Lightech, Amazing Charts. Yeah, I think that's it. No, I'm missing some. Therapy Notes, I think it is. Like I've just used different systems, and again, for the most part, they're pretty similar. But I've liked some more than others, and all of that things. But your systems matter as far as the practice management system that you're using and what you're going to decide to use, and then also the specialty matters. So if you are familiar with a specific specialty and you have decided to only bill for a specific specialty, then it will become easier for you to do. Maybe there are other factors that are in place, and watch my video about that, about the truth about medical billing. There are so many factors that come into play when it comes to how to bill, what you're billing, all that other stuff. But if you are a biller for a specific specialty, then you kind of master that specialty. So I'm an OBGYN biller at heart. That's what I really love and want to do. But I have branched out several times. I'm branching out now with therapy billing. I've done mental health billing. I've done ophthalmology billing. I've done general surgery. I've done pain management. Like, I do love OBGYN, but I have branched out to other things. And in that, you're gonna have to kind of relearn stuff, and not even really relearn it, but you're gonna have to learn things that you didn't know about the specialty, because specialties are all different. And if you like this video, then you'll love this video. So make sure you watch it next, and I'll see you in my next video.